Hi, my name is Sarah Fruth, and this is my personal learning profile. I chose video format to go through my personal learning profile because I am a discussion-based learner. I learn the most when something is being explained to me, and then I have time to ask questions and really talk it through and relay my learning. And basically say what the teacher just said, but ask it in question format. So hopefully this video is the equivalent of me discussing my learning profile with you. And I will be using my timeline to kind of be my guide throughout this video, and then also peppering like my Myers-Briggs and my VARC score and my CLEI scales in as well. So starting off the bat, the first thing that I wrote in my timeline was ages 0 to 5, and that was my developmental time when I was like playing and exploring outside and playing with my older brother and younger brother. We're very close in age, and I think that's when I developed my like kinesthetic learning from such a young age, because we were outside all of the time and everything was very tactile, like most kids. I don't feel like I was an anomaly in that way, but my transition into public school, or into, sorry, that's my dog, into school was interesting and not too difficult because I was homeschooled from kindergarten to the 5th grade. And there's some things I learned about like my learning when I was homeschooled, and the first one is that I had to learn structure, and structure is something that I struggled with like for a while, and learning how to do structure as a kindergarten, didn't love it, but I had a love of reading that developed. I am an avid reader still. I love it because it's something I can do that's really like centering. I can do it for school and feel like I'm getting a lot out of it, and then I can also do it just for fun and still feel productive, and I need to feel productive to actually feel like I've gotten work done. So that was my time period in homeschooled, when I was homeschooled. And then my transition to public school is when I learned a lot about actually my Myers-Briggs. So I'm a total extrovert who needs to observe things to see how they work. So when I transitioned to public school, I loved it. I thrived. Even though I was definitely like the weirdest kid in my class, I learned how to make friends. I learned how to play sports. My confidence grew because I gained a lot of like feedback from teachers instead of just from my mom, which she's a phenomenal teacher. But I learned feedback is super important for me, and I need that, and I still need that. And I was still able to be like very creative and learn in a very kinesthetic way. And my like oral learning, which is part of the VARC, was also really came to fruition as well during this time period, because I was experiencing lots of different ways that teachers were teaching me. And I was in a phenomenal school, phenomenal public school with awesome teachers. And I just really, really excelled. I was very grade focused. I made a lot of friends. I got to do a lot of creative projects throughout high school and middle school as well. But I did learn about my learning style, and I learned what made me different from my brothers, whereas they are very tell me once, I will do an example, and I'm done. I need to hear it multiple times, and I also need to have processing time. When I was doing the philosophies of adult education score, I scored a 91 in the progressive adult education, and some of the words that are described there as the learner is they need experiences that are key, they need to have unlimited potential to develop through their education, and then they also need to be interested, and that is exactly who I was and developed into throughout my experience in secondary education. Now, my lowest scores were definitely the classical traditional, and unfortunately that's how many of my math and science classes were taught. So I can see how I struggled in math and science during this time period, because they were taught in a very like, I'm here to just translate knowledge, and that's not what clicked with me. So then my transition into late high school and then right into college is kind of the next time that I'll talk about, because this is when I learned that my education is my own. That what I want out of something, I have to put into it. And so my self-efficacy was at an all-time high because I was trying my hardest, but for me and for my learning, because I was paying for it. And it's very different than when it's just a free thing you need to go do every day. I'm now paying to get an education, and I was also studying education because I loved school. I love school still. Still here getting my master's. But some of the things I noted in college that were really expressed in my CLEI scales were my academic self-efficacy was at an all-time high, which was reflected in my CLEI. My organization was at an all-time high. I'm a very organized person. I need to-do lists. I need notes. Some of my study methods include making to-do lists for everything I study, taking detailed notes, writing questions with my notes, bringing those to a professor. In early high school, I developed a note card system where I would write out all my notes on a note card, and then because I'm very cooperative and I need group work, I would take them to my study group and I would study with them. And we would all benefit from that. So very collaborative, which ties into what I learned about myself when I started playing sports, is I love to work as a team. And that also still ties into the like progressive adult education, the idea of I need to make meaning of what I'm doing. And so I made that meaning in the College of Education because I knew I would be a teacher. So it was a lot easier for me to apply my learning in college because I had a goal and I was very goal oriented. So then going into some of my like study skills and some methods that I've used, I love studying in public places. Having a little bit of distraction actually is really good for me because it allows me to not get lost in my own mind, because there's some things that I'm working on, but then there's also other things happening, and I don't get too distracted, which seems a little weird, but for me, I've learned that works. And some of my habits I talked about earlier, I take notes in class on my computer, and I take them like an inner monologue, just with bullets. I like to study with others. I love the note card system. And some of my weaknesses, though, I'll talk about strengths next, but definitely my weaknesses are I am a feedback-oriented person. When I was student teaching my last semester of undergrad, I received no feedback all semester, and it was crushing. I felt very isolated, and I felt like I wasn't doing a good job, and I didn't take any risks, and I wasn't creative because I didn't know if I was doing well or if I was doing poorly, and so I was very just like stuck. So I've learned I need feedback. Luckily, I have awesome supervisors now who give me wonderful feedback and good professors who have helped me learn a lot. And another one of my weaknesses is I need to talk things through with others when it comes to my learning. And so I struggle learning in isolation. So online learning is kind of hard for me unless I have someone to hold me accountable or to talk through things with, because I need to talk through things. And then some of my strengths are autonomy within tasks. I can do tasks by myself because I want to do them, but unfortunately I just do better if I can bounce ideas off of someone. And so I can be motivated to do it, but I may not feel like I'm doing a good job. I love the idea of having creativity. Even if I'm not an artistic person, being able to record a video instead of submitting a paper to me is just wonderful because it's how I learn. And then I love teamwork. It can be really hard. Depending on the team, but I think you learn not only about the assignment at hand, but you learn about yourself and how to manage others and how to work with others. And then I also can be an independent learner as well. So if I want to learn about something, I can do it on my own because I want to learn about it, because I just have an innate desire to learn. But overall, this video just is kind of, my whole goal was to walk through the timeline of my life, but then pepper in personal learning profile and like my different styles. But the big takeaways are just that I am a very collaborative person. I'm kinesthetic, and I like to learn either through video formats if it's an online class, or in person. I love discussion and cooperation, which I think seamlessly works with a lot of what my learning profile assignment tasks were. So I will submit my Myers-Briggs and VARC alongside this video and my scanned timeline. So thank you for watching this.